Hello and welcome to another video. This is Carrie at Carrie's Real World, and I am doing another mother and baby vlog because I have had some great feedback about my mother and baby videos that I've done, and have been requested to do more. So I did some videos way back last year talking about my birth of my son, my story, how I was born premature, and also how you can prepare but you can't really plan. And what I'm going to talk about is, so first of all, I'll talk about the routine. So having a routine, I do think really helps. It took us about 5 months to find a good routine for ourselves and our son. We did the whole thing where I would go to bed and then wake up and be with my son, and then my husband would go to bed. The only problem was that my husband had a tendency of sleeping over, and so when it was time to switch, it didn't happen. So, and then we end up getting ratty with each other because one got more sleep than the other one. And then we did the routine of where my husband would do that. He would let me, have an early night while he stayed up and did the evening feed. But then he ended up being completely knackered and ended up not being very well at form routine because being totally exhausted. So we stopped doing that routine. So it was only when we established a routine that would make sure that we got plenty of sleep, plenty of rest, and also my son got plenty of sleep, plenty of rest, and was fed, at the times it should be. We managed to find a routine where, so what we decided to do is both get an early night. So you may have to give up your evening during the early stages, but at least then you can get some sleep. Obviously, if you're like me, you're not an easy person to get to sleep. It could be challenging. But actually, in fact, I have found, since being a mum, that in some ways it has cured my insomnia, because when I've been totally shattered, I have actually gotten to sleep and not waking up in the middle of the night like I used to. But now I can sleep all the way through. But now with my routine that we have, so my son has his breakfast at, it was the routine before, because it's changed again recently. The routine before we had, from when he was about 10 months to, I say recently, he would have his milk around about 6:30, and then breakfast at 7 o'clock with his milk. And then we would give him a snack around about, say, 10:30, and 11:30. He would have his lunch I tried to give his lunch between about 12:30 to between 2:30. I found, you can do set times, but what I found with doing set times is there were days when he wasn't hungry at that time, but then they do get used to routine. So the more you can, so I kind of contradict myself here, I suppose, but I'm not in the sense that it's okay to have set times, but you need to leave enough gap so they are hungry, because I found when Henry isn't hungry, that's when he's more likely to have a tantrum and play up when it comes to milk, sitting down and having something to eat. And I would always say, when it comes to mealtime, even at dinner time, that they should be sitting, having something to eat. Because I was doing the routine where he would be walking around having something to eat at lunchtime, which I don't mind during the day, but in the evening and breakfast time, he has to be sitting and having that meal. Because the more you get him in that routine, the more he will know that when he's sitting down in his high chair, that's when he has his dinner. And that's when, because I also found that doing that, it's helped him with development, because now he's starting to associate, because when he's hungry, he will go to that high chair and he will start wanting to be sat in a high chair, because he's associated now, because they learn more on observation and actions and sounds rather than the meaning of things. So my son knows that when he has a high chair, he knows that high chair is associated with food, because when he's in the high chair, he's eating. Same with he learned the word lunch, because he knows that lunch is associated with food. He doesn't actually know that what lunch is at the moment, but he knows that he has something to do with food, because whenever I said, "Want some lunch?" I've produced food, I've made him some food. So he now has made that association, that relationship with the word lunch and food. So that's why it's good a routine, because that helps them learn as well, having a routine, because also when it comes to bedtime, which I'll get to that in a few moments. But what I would say is, don't worry, don't get into a rut. If you are struggling trying to find a routine, and just have like around about times like I do. Because sometimes when you go on holiday, for example, or if you've got an appointment, you may have to alter the routine some days. So that's why it's good. It's okay to have set times, but say you've got an appointment at 12 o'clock, or you need to get somewhere, and the time you have to leave is their meal time. Well, they will get used to that time at 12 o'clock being a lunch. But if you do it at like a round stage, like from 12:30 to 2:30, then they will know at some point they're getting their lunch, but they won't be so kind of like, oh, I'm going to be having lunch now, because they will pick up on when they have certain things during the day. So again, do the routine for their development, but not have such a strict routine. But a routine so they know that it's time to get up, time to have his nappy change, time to have his breakfast and his first drinks of water, and then he'll know that we'll give him a snack when we have our breakfast, and then he'll know that when he wakes up we will have his lunch, and then he'll know when dinner time is, and he'll know as soon as we put his sleep gear on, it's almost time for bed. So they kind of associate things. So Henry knows when we get his sleep suit on, that it's time. It's near getting close to his bedtime. And so let me go into routines. I'm rambling on, and I'm not going to subject. So when I'll give his lunch. He'll have his breakfast he used to have breakfast between 6:30 and 7 o'clock. He'll have a lunch. He used to have his snack between 10:30 and 11. He'll have his lunch between 12:30 and 2:30, in between them times, and then I'll give him probably give him a snack. Depending on when I've given his lunch, between 3 and 5 o'clock, and then he'll have his dinner at 6 o'clock. But be careful with snacking, because it can affect disrupt their dinner time. So give them snacks to try to hold off their hunger for dinner time. Obviously, you don't want them to be hungry, but it's good for them to be hungry enough so they will sit and eat their dinner, because when they're not hungry, that's when you'll probably find that they will be disruptive. Now, I know every child is different. They won't all be like that, but kind of what I've learned, when Henry is hungry, he will sit and eat his dinner without a fuss. So we'll lead on to weaning. So when it comes to weaning, I would say, going on what I've been taught and what I've learned, is that, sorry, the phone went. When it comes to weaning, so I will start off with 1 meal a day, and we started off introducing food in his breakfast time, and then we started gradually adding more meals, more food to his feed times as we went. And then by the time they're 1 year old, they should be having more food than milk, because obviously you're starting to change them, so they will start to have, because they're starting to move on solids, because the older they are, the less more milk they need, but it's still important that they have some milk in their diet, or calcium, and cheese and yogurts are good for that, but just be careful about the amount of sugar that's in those ingredients, like milk. I always check the label, and I was recommended by the doctors that they can have full fat milk, but saying that, and the nurseries, not all nurseries have full fat milk, and they actually give the children semi-skimmed milk. So, but I would always go and advise, but don't be worried if you can't get full fat milk, semi-skimmed milk. It's fine because they give it to children at nurseries, so it must be okay. But if you are worried, then go on full fat milk, what we have. So we'll have for breakfast a baby rice, and then we started introducing, I started making my own purees, and I will do some more baby meals, but I've shown an example in one of my videos, which I will link, how I make one of my son's breakfasts, and I still make that now, which is Weetabix and banana with some hot milk, or you'll have porridge, a sachet of porridge with banana and milk. Sometimes I would get a different breakfast, so I'll give him sort of a couple of slices of toast and yogurt, or he would have shreddies or malt wheat and hot milk. And then for lunch, I will give him. So I'm trying to make more variety of meals for him, but I will give him things like baked beans, but just not all the time. But I will try and put at least 1 or 2 vegetables in his meals, because I want him to have a good diet. And I do think that if you want to be healthy and eat the fruit and veg, I think it should start from when they are young. The more they are, they will continue on. Tantrums. I'm dealing with that at the moment. Yes, terrible twos. How do you deal with tantrums? Well, I'm still learning on this one, but going on how things are so far, I found when I step back and observe, and I go over and I say, what's the matter? I actually find that is more effective than when I say, stop making that noise, or like yesterday I couldn't get him the pushchair to actually get out of the house, and it really was like a test of my patience, because I even got upset because I was like, how can I not get my son the pushchair, and he wouldn't go in, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I'd think, give up and not go out, but I thought, no, I've got to go out, I've got to get shopping. So I got him in the pushchair, and I thought, no, he's not going to play in the park, because he needs to learn that if he wants to go out and play in the park, then he needs to be a good boy and get in the pushchair, because at the moment he's at a stage where he can walk, but he doesn't know where he's going, he doesn't know what the road is. So at the moment, because he's still learning to walk, and he just gets out of the pushchair and he just wants to run and explore, so at this stage, we can't allow him to walk too far away from us. So it is a case of we have to put the pushchair until we get out, and when we get in the park, then we will let him out to walk, because we know that it's quite a distance from any road or anything. So and I thought, no, he's not going to walk, because he needs to learn, if he wants to walk and wants to get out of the pushchair, he's got to be good. And then I thought, well, I'll see how I'll do the shopping that I need to do, and then we walked the back way where it's quite countryside, and I thought I'd get him out there just to see if he had learned. And he went my way, but then he decided no, he was going in the opposite direction and run away. So I thought I had to pick him up, getting out to fight again to get in the pushchair, and then I dropped the shopping on the floor, and a disaster. But we got it done in the end, and what I needed to learn was to stay calm, and I knew that, I will get him back in that pushchair, but it's really tough on your own, because you feel guilty, but you've just got to persevere. You've just got to make him understand that, if he's not going to walk in my direction, he's got, until he does that, he's going to go and pushchair because of his safety. I will think about taking him out on his own without the pushchair, but I'm just thinking about when and where, because obviously, things to help the situation, and I'll get back on that one. But you're always learning, as I say, you're always learning, and there's not a time goes by when You know, I mean, if there was an instruction manual that came with children, I think it would be the most best-selling manual on the planet because there is no instructions, and it is a lot of the time it's improvisation, doing what you feel is right to do, and no one should judge you. You know, because at the end of the day, you're just doing the best for your child, and the thing is to keep them safe. And sometimes they don't understand, but they need to understand. That's why, you know, even though it's hard to get back in the picture, you can't let them right, because if they run on the road, they can end up getting killed. So it's important that they understand their boundaries and what they're allowed to do and what they aren't allowed to do. And I do think that's very important. Discipline was a massive thing when I was a child, and even though my dad wasn't perfect, the one thing he installed was discipline, and we knew what we could and what we couldn't, what we could and what we couldn't do. Also, you know, if anybody else has got any advice on how to deal with tantrums or how to get a child in a pushchair, then very welcome. Please let me know what you do and how you do it, because I'm still learning on that one. Join different classes. So my son out now is joining monkey music, which he absolutely loves. They do different ones from 3 months onwards, 3 to 6 months I think it is, and then they do other classes from I think it's from 3 to 6 months, and then 7 to like 10 months, that sort of thing. And Henry's now on the next class up for 2 to 3 year olds, which is called Jiggity Jig. And they it's just based on learning about music, sounds, learning to listen to instructions. So when the teacher says bring the music instrument up, they have to learn to take the musical instrument up, to listen to rules and instructions. And I think it's a great class, because I did go to mother and toddler groups. They're okay, but I always found it very isolated, because I felt that unless you already been going there for a while, you were still on your own. And I do suffer with social anxiety, and you know, I do feel bad that I really don't want it to affect my son with socialising in any way. And so that's why, you know, I'm trying to do these different classes. And next Saturday and Monday we'll take Henry to Gymboree. By the time this video goes out, we'll have been there. But once I've gone to that class, they do most of the kids' class will always do a free trial, which is really good. And you can see what it's like, because you may find it's not for you or not for your child. And they do different classes at Gymboree. I'm taking Henry to the family fun and play class. And I do think it's important for yourself to speak to, it's good to speak to other mums, because like the last term of Monkey Music, me and son of mine went for a coffee, which was really nice. And I mean, they're not in this class, but it is a good thing for parents and children to interact. I think it's really good fun. I definitely recommend it. And also Buggy Fit, it's really good for those. If you, I would say that's more for mums with younger children, because at this stage it would be tricky to do Buggy Fit with Henry, because he constantly wants to be running around, and I know he would have a tantrum. So, but I would definitely recommend Buggy Fit as well. It's a really good class if you want to get back into fitness and socialise with other mums. Definitely recommend. And I mentioned it before, baby massage classes. And going on walks and doing something that you and your child can, and the family can do something to enjoy. So we often do this. In February we plan on taking him to some museums and up London again. And I do think it's important to do something that you both enjoy. Like me and Henry will watch quiz shows in the afternoon. We will go for walks during the day, even though, like I say, we have a hard time getting back in the pushchair. But I still enjoy going for walks and taking him to the park and playing on the swings. And, you know, like this morning we were playing a game with one of these, because he loves footballs, tennis balls, bouncy balls. So we were playing with one of these little black ball that he's got. And just playing throwing and catching this morning. And then we played hide and seek. He's got his new tent over there, which is falling apart already, but he absolutely loves. And so find something that you can both interact and enjoy. That's why we do monkey music together, because it's really good for me and him. and go for walks. You know, even if it's, you know, like I've seen some parents around here where where the mum's jogging and one child's on a scooter, the other one's on the bike, and as long as they know to be safe, then that's great. It's good to do things as a family, and something I would always do and recommend. Even like meal times and dinner times, I like having lunch when my son has his lunch. Um, and like and on that, me and my son have a song together. So our song is Sia, Soon Will Be Found, and and my son and my husband's song is I'm You. And it'll stop because I mean we've stopped playing music now in the evening and bedtime because we found that. And yes, sorry to the writer of The Secret of the Baby Whisperer, because I should have listened to you when you said about music. Because even like my first book, that you know when you sleep deprived, you'll do anything to get me back to sleep, which is true. And I don't think it hurt to play music, but just be prepared, because with my son, he got so used to having music played at night time that he kept waking up as soon as the music stopped. But it's also good, but music is good, and we still play it to him during the day or in the morning, because it is a good way of him to listen to different sounds, different pick up on certain sounds. So my battery's back running on my camera, so I might have to do this. Might have to do these in 2 videos. So bedtime, like I have like I say, it helps having a routine, and so giving them now. It always does in this one, but I really want to get this, finished. So yeah, so with bedtime, so give them a bath. As soon as they have their sleep, put the sleep set on, just get them ready for bed. Have do the same pattern each night, and then they will learn that it's bedtime. And that does really help, because my son, he knows as soon as he has his last meal, we will give him sort of like 15-20 minutes more play, and then we'll take him upstairs to sleep. And he is very good normally to settle down. Sometimes he will have the odd time for a bad night, but that's why it's good to have a routine. That I prefer him to have his nap now during the day than any time later, because I find that if he sleeps any later after 2 o'clock, I find that his sleep at night gets disrupted. And I found that, and I thought we were going to have to change it again, because I'm writing my second book now, and I thought we would change it again, but in actual fact, I mean, if we did have to change it maybe later, then obviously, we'd go on, because, I mean, they're young and they're tired, and so don't be surprised that as they get bigger, then nap times shorten or the nap times change, and you find that they have more energy. It's part of their growing, and that was so the routine. You do have to gradually change it or adapt it as they're moving on to solids, as they're getting bigger and then they have more energy. But the more you can stick to a routine, the better it is, especially when it comes to bedtime. And I've got to say that I'm glad we persevered when it came to bedtime, because he does sleep usually very well. He woke up last night in the middle of the night, and I wasn't sure why he woke up for. He woke up crying, and he had a nightmare. But I heard him turn over and cry, and I do lay there for about a couple of seconds and see, because sometimes he just turn over and he will go back to sleep, but he didn't. So then I went in, observed, see what was the matter, and I checked to make sure he didn't have his nose wasn't blocked. So I sprayed his nose with this, which is brilliant stuff, Stone, really good product. I've mentioned it before in my other products I recommend, mother and baby video, which I'll link below. And I would definitely recommend it. All it is water based, and there's different with different stages. This is for 0 to 3 years, and it's just water based. You spray it in that, you put the nozzle bit in there, so you must make sure that gets cleaned regularly. Spray it in each nostril. It's great in each nostril, and it clears it. And I would recommend these nappies as well. These are Chico nappies, brilliant, and they keep them dry all through the night. Because I found some, even when we changed them as late as we could, we used to have to get up like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to change the nappy, because of fear of wet food, because sometimes he would. So, but these have been brilliant, and now he sleeps for later, he's still dry, and these are Chico size 5 nappies, and I know that I've had some really good positive comments when I've showed these nappies on my videos, and I would definitely recommend them. And one thing we always do by time is brush his teeth, and that's a good thing to start introducing from when they're 1 year old, and get them on some when it's bedtime, and in the morning, so brush his teeth in the morning and the evening, and it helps them to get into that routine of looking after their teeth. And this is just make sure that you get the children's toothpaste, which is, so he's woken up now, 0 to 3 months, which is Colgate toothpaste, and you get a children's toothbrush, and that you change it regularly, so it's just due to be changed, but this is current toothbrush, and I'll get a new one. And there's this book which was recommended to me by Mum that I met on the bus. We were talking and she recommended this book to me, because there were nights where Henry wasn't settling, and we were chatting, and she recommended this book, Who Wants to Fall Asleep. And the other night when he wouldn't settle, I read this book, and it didn't. I've tried it a few times, it hasn't worked, but I will persevere. When he does difficulty sleeping, I will persevere with this book. Because apparently it's supposed to be, the book that gets the babies to sleep. It's called Rabbit Who Wants to Fall Asleep. Number 1 bestseller by Carl Johan so if I say this wrong, Forcian Erlin, I think. A New Way of Getting Children to Sleep. So my mum got that from the book people, I think, for me. Christmas present. And so when we're giving the child a bath, washing their hair, I would recommend this product to spray, and helps detangle and makes it easy to brush their hair. This is the Avon Naturals Crazy Hair Tamer for kids, and it's a Magnificent Mango, brilliant for helping to brush their hair. And these are the baby wipes I like to use, which is like a clippy bit at the front. These are Boots own. They're about £2.50 a pack, but there are other ones you can get, but I just like the little clippies, and I just find that they stay dry and they don't dry up, and they're a lot easier than the Huggies type ones, because I find also the Huggies ones irritate Henry's skin. But these ones, they're really, I love the packaging, and I love the texture of the wipes, and he has no irritation from these. So that is it for now. If there are something that I haven't covered, or you'd like me to speak about, chat about, any questions, if you're a new mum, if you've got any tips and advice you'd like to share with me too, then feel free to put the comments below. And if you do like this video and would like to see more, then give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you'd like to hear more and know when I'll be posting more videos up. So until then, many thanks for watching, and take care.